And if that didn't blow your mind, just check this out. Hello, Flight Sim fans, and welcome to the Practically Geek channel. In today's video, I've headed south of Seattle, Washington to visit Renton Municipal Airport, and this Payware scenery is by Headet Designs, and you can purchase it from various different websites. I will leave a link for a few of them in the description down below.
United Tango Victor, Roger, runway 09, clear for takeoff, surface wind 150 degrees, 4 knots.
Runway 09, clear for takeoff, easy 93 Tango Victor.
So just on the south end of Lake Washington lies Renton Municipal Airport, which provides regional aviation services for air charter, air taxi, corporate, business, and for recreational flights. It's also home to the Will Rogers Wiley Post Memorial Sea Base, which is located on the northern tip of the airport, and that is great for water landings and takeoffs. I've been super excited to check this one out. It's not a new Payware scenery by any means, and there are already quite a few YouTube videos about it. But as always within my videos, I'd like to show you what the default scenery looks like first before heading into the Payware add-on to see just how much the scenery has improved. My initial impressions of Renton Municipal Airport within the default scenery aren't too bad. You can see that the airport is separated from the large factory facility, which I'll get to in just a second, by this river. This is actually the Cedar River running down the middle of the runway and the factory buildings. You can see the Autogen buildings do resemble that of airport buildings. You've got hangars and utility buildings, and we're not seeing weirdly placed Autogen buildings like houses or huts or just things that don't look like they should be there. In the top right of the shot there, you'll see a small control tower surrounded by hangars and buildings. And coming into shot on the left is the main control tower here at Renton, which represents the real life version of the airport. They do have two control towers on site here. I do like the texture work in the default scenery as it stands. You can see a mixture of different concretes on the apronways and the taxiways. You can also see the tire marks on the runway, which is a lighter shade of grey. Over to the east side of the airport and the River Cedar is the Boeing factory, which currently manufactures the 737 MAX aircraft. Before this, however, you would have seen the likes of the 707, the 727, and the 757 airliners all being made here. As you can see, this part of the scenery is actually photogrammetry, which on closer inspection seems to be slightly off. Firstly, we don't get the building of the municipal stadium, which you can see in the aerial imagery. And within this patch of grass in the bottom left of shot, quite oddly, we don't get the Hyatt Lake Washington Hotel. Now, I've had a quick look online and discovered that the hotel was opened in 2017, and the stadium, the South Grandstand, was actually completed in 2011, which only indicates that the photogrammetry data is a good few years off. The Boeing factory portion of the scenery is okay. It's great to see we have photogrammetry in the area surrounding the airport, although as mentioned it does seem to be a bit out of date. But overall I am pretty impressed with what the default scenery already offers within the simulation. Buildings, according to Google Maps, seem to be in the correct location and are all well represented thanks to the Autogen system getting the theming right on most, if not all, structures. With all that being said, let's dive straight into the Headet Design Renton add-on to see just how much they've improved this airport. Welcome back to Seattle and to Renton Airport here on the south end of Lake Washington. I'm about to take a seaplane over to the city, but before I do, let's check out Headet Design scenery to see how much it has been improved. Flying over the top of the airport, then we can see a massive overhaul has occurred. Everything in the area of the airport and the Boeing factory has been upgraded, and we can now see we have handcrafted buildings for various hangars, the control tower, the Boeing facility itself, and the Renton Memorial Stadium has now been added in. We also see improvements to the two bridges connecting the airport to the Boeing factory, one here just beside the stadium, and this larger one on the mouth of the Cedar River, which runs into Lake Washington. As I showed you before, we now have an actual seaplane base, which was only visible within the default scenery as satellite imagery that was coming through the water. There is tons of detail within this scenery, so let's get a bit closer for a better look, starting with some of the general aviation hangars and the control tower here on the west side of the airport. It's really amazing to see all these 737 aircraft lined up at Renton. You can see various different liveries for Ryanair and Southwest, and the ambient noise that you hear, and I'll just be quiet for 1 second. These are all custom sounds that Zhevieski Design have added into this scenery to make it more authentic, and it's absolutely amazing detail. Some things to look out for as I take you around Renton Airport are these lovely custom static people models, as well as some animated ones. You can also see custom signage throughout the buildings, and you'll also see the parallax effects on the building interiors to give you this faked interior look, but it does look really great. The animated people that have been added into the scenery look really amazing. You can see this worker is inspecting the 737. I must admit, the models that have been used for the 737 aircraft look fantastic. They're one of the best static models I've seen within a scenery before. More lovely details include the custom Boeing steps attached to this Ryan airplane, and you can also see the door is open on the left side of the aircraft with its inbuilt steps coming down to the ground. I think that's another really good touch. The model work and texturing within this scenery is excellent. You can see the parallax effect there, making this building look like it's got an interior when it hasn't. You can see the PBR texturing working really well there, and the custom signage for the ProFlight building. It's very crisp and clear. Moving along the side of this building, you can see just how good the texture work is. It's very clear even this close up. There's also various bits of ground clutter like pallets and oil drums and the green bin below us there. You can even see the light on the side of the building. Again, very well modeled, and it all looks very convincing. Just in front of the control tower on the landside area of the airport, you can see this electronic box. I just wanted to point this out because you can see just how detailed the signage is. You can see the warning high voltage sticker on the side there, which I think is really cool. The larger of the two control towers here at Renton looks really great. Once again, fabulous model work and texturing. The dirt and weathering on the side doesn't look repeated, so it does look realistic. There is an interior to the top of the control tower, but you can also see again that parallax effect on the main structure of the control tower. We will head into that interior in just a moment, guys, because there is some insane details going on inside there. You can probably already see one now, but as you can see here, you've got all the static custom people going about their jobs. There's no animated ones here, but I think it looks really good anyway. You can see the antennas, the security cameras and the various beacon lights, and the red structure, the safety structure with the ladders going up to the roof looks all very good. Yes, that is right. You can hear ATC. Now, that isn't a live feed, of course, but isn't that a really amazing little touch? I've been in many different control tower interiors within this flight sim, and this is probably one of my favorite, if not the best. The flooring texture, the texturing of the ceiling with the lights, the PBR textures look fantastic. And can you see the little model of the LOT Airlines? I think that's a 787. Can you see it spinning on its podium? I think it all looks just stunning. It is an insane amount of detail for one scenery. The details just don't stop here at Renton, and just outside the control tower on this building is the lovely artwork for Clayton Scott, who was the famous aviator. He was actually a pilot for Bill Boeing. He was also a test pilot for various Boeing bombers in the war, and he also had a seaplane business at this very airport. And I think over on the west side of the airport, this section just sums the detail up. The amount of ground clutter you're seeing, the blast shield behind this Fly Dubai 737. You can see static people there working. Actually, they are animated. If you look at the guy on the crane, the little scissor lift, he is actually moving his arm about, and he's checking underneath the fuselage. You can see ground power units, markings on the floor, and it just looks very, very realistic in my opinion. It is really, really great, this scenery. Here's a better look at that animated person just checking the fuselage out of this 737. There's a static person model just beside him next to the scissor lift, or the cherry pick, or whatever you would like to call it. And if you notice just then, another animated just on the left there as he walks by checking out the aircraft for his visual inspection. It is all very convincing and realistic. I really love it. Of course, we do get a perimeter fence, but just check out the blast shield at the end of the runway here. You can see Renton, but you can also see the 3 Boeing aircraft that were once made at this facility, and I think this is a really lovely touch. Of course, this is present at the real airport, but to include it into the scenery is just great. You can see actually there are lights at the top of that, which make up the landing lights. And just at this shot, you can see me passing the threshold of the runway, all those 737 jets lined up, the hangars, the different hangar types, and again the modeling work is just very high quality. Over on the east side of the airport then, and once again we're getting lots of lovely details, perimeter gate and fencing here with the static Cessna with this gentleman working on it, various different hangars, all well modeled of course, as I mentioned before. The texturing works great, and obviously in the center of image there, the big bright red Ace Aviation hangar with the seaplane, and again trucks and different static aircraft in front of it. It looks really, really good, and if you just look right now just to see what it looks like, I think you'll agree that Żywiecki Design have done a fantastic job here. The smaller of the 2 control towers here at Renton is also modelled and does also include an interior which is very well detailed. I love the various Żywiecki mugs that you can see along the desk. Outside you can actually see the Poseidon, the 737 Poseidon jets, the anti-submarine warfare aircraft, it looks great. We'll go a bit closer to them in a moment. And you can also see this unique looking hangar with the various vents going around it with the yellow safety rails. It all looks, again, I've said it a few times already, it looks fantastic, it really does. Here is a closer look at that unique hangar building with the large ventilation system around it. I love the custom street lights that have been included, and I'm going to pop a picture on the screen of the real life building just to show you how close this comes to the real thing. Just heading past our hangar then, you can see the Boeing logo on the side of it, just slightly right of shot there. That is very well rendered, it looks great. The apron lights just in front of us here look very well modeled, they're really great actually. And the PA Poseidon, the anti-submarine aircraft rather, also modeled very well. High quality scenery is all I can say, and the row of the 737s they just look really great. You can see this one here is actually being towed out as well by the aircraft tow. And yeah, well, you can see it for yourself. What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments down below. We are now making our way closer to the Boeing factory itself, and let me just tell you guys, spoiler alert, it is fantastic. You are gonna have your minds blown because it's absolutely stunning what I'm about to show you. In front of us, you can see the Memorial Stadium is now added into the scenery. It wasn't before, and again, the model work and texturing is fantastic. The Zhevieski logo on the center of the pitch there looks great. The apron over to the right, various different 737 aircraft, the LOT Airlines, you've got Fly Dubai, and you've got ones without the liveries on them that are fresh out of the factory. One thing I would say about this scenery, and I did briefly mention it before, is the outrageous amount of ground clutter that has been added in. You can see it below. You've got pallets, you've got trucks, forklifts, storage containers, bins, just a good level of it, to a point of where it looks very, very true to life, very realistic. It doesn't look empty, and it looks like it's a lived in scenery. It's very, very well done. And if that wasn't enough, look at this. Look at the train bringing the half-built 737 along the tracks. That is, it just blows my mind. It is one of the best things I've seen on a scenery for this flight simulator so far, as well as the other 737 in bits. It's ailerons and its tail fins on the structures, or whatever you would like to call them. I'm sure there's a proper name for them, but it is just insane. I love this scenery. There's also this little animated train. I'm not too sure what it's called. If you do know if there's an actual name for it, let me know in the comments. But that is also animated as well, and that makes its way up and down the tracks collecting things. It blows my mind what has been achieved in this add-on. And if that didn't blow your mind, just check this out. That's right, Zhevieski Design have actually modeled the interior of the Boeing production line, and you have to purchase this scenery to just really appreciate it. I can show you what it looks like right now. You can probably tell from my expression how mind-blowing it is. You can even see the 737 getting towed away, and the doors actually open and close. The metal structures, the cranes, you can see the officers and the people to the left. The text on the walls to the right indicating the sections of the factory. The 737s without their engines attached yet. It's all just stunning. On the other side of the factory, you can see the 737s now in more of a completed stage, but you can also see the wings on the floor just at the bottom of shot there, and they look fantastically modeled. The texture work, again, I'm mentioning the modeling and the texturing work, it is all very high standard. And to include this into I mean, the airport would have just been fine. I mean, just look at this. Just look at the windows, the parallax effect for the interior. There's no interior to the offices or the computer rooms there in the background. They're all just a faked effect, but it looks really amazing. The structures of where the fuselages are being kept up in the air to be worked on look great. The floor of the factory itself, the reflections in it look crazy good. They look very, very good. Before we make our way back round to the north side of Renton Airport, you can see the Hyatt Regency Hotel, which wasn't even there in the default scenery, has now been really stunningly recreated in this add-on. The wooden deckway here for the boats to dock on looks fantastic, and if you look over to the right, you'll see a 737 just fresh out the factory. Once again, I'm I'm just blown away. Fantastic work. And I think with all that being said, I think it's now time to head into some night lighting. So let's rewind our watches and clocks and head back to 1 a.m. And I'm excited because if it's anything like as it's been so far, it's going to be amazing. Let's check it out now. And just look at that. Doesn't it look amazing? I know you can't see much right now and it doesn't really show you how good the night lighting is. But if you look over to the left inside the faked parallax interior to the building, you can see it's all internally lit. The lights on the side of the factory here in front of us are all illuminating the ground perfectly well. And if you look off into the background, you can see the tail fins of the various 737 aircraft on the aprons. Let's take a look from above and let's go around and see little bits of the night lighting before heading into the before and after section. From this height, you can really appreciate the effort that has gone in to the night lighting for this scenery. The Hyatt Regency Hotel looks insane. It looks beautiful. The different lights, the gold and the purples, the lights of the Boeing factory that we've just been in, the red beacon lights surrounding the roof. And if you look down below, the doors have opened and you can see a 737 getting towed out to go and get its paint done. It's just absolutely stunning. The apron lights off into the background along the edges of the runway look fantastic. The different variation in bulb colors like the golds, the yellows, the reds, and the more glowy whites of like an LED bulb. And you can even see the lights of the tow truck illuminate its way, pulling that 737 along the taxiway there. Just phenomenal. Fabulous work. And there it is, a new 737 MAX off the production line, ready for its paint job. I love the lighting in the factory here, the different security lights illuminating the apron, and there she goes into the hangar to its final step. And the interior lighting of the paint shed, I guess, the paint warehouse, as those hangars close, the hangar doors close, and that's how good this scenery is. Here is a closer look at the aprons at night at Renton Airport. You can see the smaller control tower on the right is lit up really well. The hangar here with the Boeing symbol all illuminated very realistically, and the various apron lights that are making the 737 Poseidon jets light up really well. Overall, the night lighting for Renton Airport by Headet Design is excellent. It features realistic lighting placement, which makes the whole scenery come alive, and I love that it has been implemented within the parallax effect building interiors. I will be showing you more of the night lighting in the before and after section, so with that being said, let's get straight into it. I really hope you enjoy it. Renton Municipal Airport by Żywiecki design is absolutely stunning. I've looked at many sceneries so far on this channel, and this one is right up there for being one of the most detailed. If you are interested in purchasing this add-on, it is available on a bunch of different websites, including Urbex and SimMarket. Currently, it's on sale and can be yours for the insane price of just under £10. This airport is usually around £20 after the currency conversion, but even at that price, I think it's hard to say no. I will leave a link for the Urbex and SimMarket product pages below in the description. Let me know if you've already bought this scenery and tell me what you think of it in the comments down below. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a massive like and please consider subscribing to the Practically Geek channel for more Microsoft Flight Simulator content just like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon.